What is sequence in Python? Don't know about this? Then you are missing something big. Hey, this is Ankit. In this video, we are going to learn about sequence. Sequence is divided into three parts: list, tuples, and range. We are going to learn in this video all these three things. So without wasting any time, let's dive into my desktop. But before that, please watch this video till the end because there is an important message for all those who are interested in Python, and we have a gift for you.
This is the part 6 of variables and data types in Python. In previous sessions, we already had seen numeric, text, boolean and non-type data types. In this session, we are going to see what is a sequence type data types. So what is a sequence? Sequence is nothing just a collection of your values which is identified by a single variable or single object. Here you can see list, tuple and range are identified as a sequence. So one by one we'll see all of them and we will understand what they are doing and what is this type of data types. So let's see in action. So list is a collection of values, right? If I want to access multiple values using a single object name or single variable name, I can do it. But how? Because if I'll provide a single value to any variable, so it will print it and I am able to access only the single value from this variable, right? But what I have to do to get the collections? So basically, if I want to store 23, 24, 25 to the A, then what I have to do? I have to enclose this, all these values under or between this square brackets. That is an indication of creation of list. Now Python is able to understand these values are the uh, value or data which are going to be stored in this list, and that list will be identified with the variable name A, right? And if I'll print this value, let's see what I'm able to get. So you can see I'm getting the collection of values, collection of data, right? And all of the values are integer type. But what is the type of it? What is the type of A? Let's see. If I'll check the type of A, then I am able to get this is not an integer type, this is a list type. So Python is not talking about the 23, 24 or 25. Python is talking about this whole object or whole collection, right? Okay. Next, we will see how we can assign different type of values, because Python supports that we can assign multiple value or multiple data type based value to the list. For example, if I'll going to store string data type or 13.45 the float data type, or true as a boolean value, or 2 plus 3j as a complex data type, right? So all these values are going to be stored inside this object, inside this list, and will identify it as a, right? And if I'll print this now, let's see. So all the values are stored in this A, and I'm able to get only list as a class, because again these are the values which are belongs to different data types, but Python doesn't care about it. Python need to understand only that bracket which is a list in the Python, right? Okay. Now there is a one possibility. I can create a multiple elements. I can assign a multiple values to Python. What if I require to create an empty list, a list where no values is assigned initially, right? Later on I will add it, but initially I don't want it. So what you can do, just provide empty brackets, square brackets, open and close, and just assign to the any variable. It will create a list for you, which is a empty list if you will print, and if you will try check, then it will identify this A is actually a list. Let's see in action. You can see currently my list is completely empty. There's a no element, no values assigned to the list, nothing is added to the list, but this is a empty list, right? I hope you understand that point. Now, so we already had seen Python supports different data type. So if I want to store uh, all the values which belongs to a specific data type, right? So I am able to do it. If I want to store all string values, and I am able to do it, right? So as same as with string, float, and integer, we can assign any type of values or any number of values in the list, right? Okay. Now my question is how we can access the element of the list if I require, because if I am going to store some values which belongs to different data type, right? So how can I able to access this each and every value of the list, right? So if I'll do it, if I'll print it, definitely it's gonna print the complete list, and if I'll print the type, then it will print the type of the list. But if I'm going to uh, if I'm going to uh, print uh, the element, uh, if I want to print the element of this list, so let's see how we can do. So if I have to access this 12, I want to print only 12 as the output of the list, right? I want to access only this 12 of the list. So what I have to do, I have to use the indexing in a Python. Indexing means the index position of the value. So let's see, right? So I'm here printing just type of A. What is this happening? Python is assigning by default all the values of the element in the list as an index. So each element is identified by one unique value, numerical or whole number value, which starts from 0 and can move to positive way, right? But each and every value will get some index, right? And we can access all the items using that index only. For example, this 12 is identified with 0, 14.56 identified as 1, true will identify as a index 2, yeah, 2 plus 45j, that's a complex number, will identify it as a 3. This string A will identify as a 4, and this S as a 5, because you can see there is a 6 elements. So Python supports maximum of 0 to n minus 1 possible index, where n is nothing, just a number of elements in your list, right? So if I want to access multiple elements, let's see, 3, 5 and 6. So as per this index, I am able to get this value. Yes, as per this index, let me count where is 3 is going to be stopped when I am going to start my first value with a 0. 0, 1, 2 and 3. So it should print a value 2 plus 45 j. Then it's asking for the 5. So 4 and then 5 index. So it should print a value at this place or for this statement, right? But what if I will print this, if I'll call this a statement? So let's see. For 0, I am able to get a 12. For index 3, I am able to get 2 plus 45j. for index 5, I'm able to get S. But when I'm trying to access the index, which is not a part of the list, because there is a no value assigned at the index 6, so Python showed me an error, and that is an index error. And it's giving me a description like index, list index out of range. So whatever the index I'm trying to access, that's a Python is saying me that whatever the index you are trying to access, that index is not available in the list because there is a no element at this place, and that index is not created yet. Okay. Okay, now we can see, if I am going to print the type A, I am able to print the type of list always be. Whatever I am going to access, whatever I am adding the element, whatever I am trying to do, it's always printing the class list, which is nothing just a type of object, which is a list data type. What if I want to check the element type? So same thing, if I want to check the element of 12 or data type of 12, so I have to pass 0 over there. If I want to pass check the data type of true, so I have to pass 2 over there. If I want to check the data type of your complex number, so I should pass as 3 over there. The same thing, if I will pass a 5, then it should give me the data type of this S. And what if I'll print this index is 6, because we know that 6 index is not available in the list, it should give us some error. So let's see in action. I think there is some issues. Let me check. Okay. So you find when this statement is printed, when that statement is printed, Python is not able to execute any more statement after that, because Python is based on interpreter. So when Python got the error at this statement, that execution of the program is stopped at the same place, and Python is not able to execute it uh, rest of the statements. So let me remove this statement first and let me try that. So you can see, when I am printing type A at the line number 6, I am able to print the list. When I am printing the type of 0 index value of A, I am able to print int. When I am printing the type of index number 2 value in a list A, I am able to get it bool, right? Same with a complex and string. And what happen to this index? So you can say again that index is not accessible. So again Python showed me the same error, that index error, list index out of range. So I'm not able to access it because that index is not created or not present in the list, right? So basically we understand that point. The Python supports the indexing of elements, or we can access those elements using the whole number, which is start from 0 to n minus 1, and each element will get its unique index for each one, right? Okay, so let me see one more thing. Suppose this is a list I am going to create, 13.45 A, true, and complex type. So basically Python is providing an index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in an increasing order from 0 to n minus 1, right? Okay, but Python is providing a one more powerful feature with a list, like we can access this list in a reverse order. big, big, bef- uh, we can access this list in the reverse order uh, without making any special logic or without making any special program. How? So basically what we can do, Python is assigning a reverse indexing like this to each element. Okay, so that is a what? Reverse index. So if you will gonna type a and -1, it should give you the output as 2 plus 3j. If you are going to print the minus 4, then it should give you the output as 13.45. And if you are going to print the minus 5, it should give you the output as 12. But what if I'm going to access the index -6? Then it should give you the error message. Why? Because the same problem with the Python or same problem with the list, that -6 index is not available in a list. So how the Python is able to access it? Let's see in action. So if I want to access this, let me remove these statements and print a of -1. So let me write these values. So 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And at last, 1 is an exception case. That's a -6 index. Let's see in the action. Now, you can see now it generated the output as S for the -1, A for the -2, 2 plus 4, 5j, which is a complex number, for the -3, boolean true as a -4, 14.45, 14.45, 6 for the -5, and this 12 as a 6. I think we made a logical mistake that we have a 5 elements, but actually there are 6 elements. So we have to keep one more thing, that is 7, right? So let's see now. Yes, now you can see when I added this -7 index, which is not present in this list, so it's showing me the error, which is an index error. So list index out of range, right? Okay, now so we understand how to create a list, how we can add the element to the list, how we can uh, access those elements using the indexing. List is supporting different type of data types. We can add any type of data types values, right? And the Python is also supporting, or the list is also supporting some other powerful things, and these are some magical concatenation. For example, I'm going to add something like this: blue, pink, and black. Okay, so I have a 3 string values in another list. So I had created 2 lists, list A and list B. List A has a 6 elements, and all of them are different data types. List B has 3 elements and all of them are string type. Let me try to do, let me try to perform this operation A plus B, and let's see what the output I am going to get from it. So bang, it's a concatenation, because when I used a plus symbol between these 2 lists, so list B is added to the list A, and all the items of the both lists are merged together in a new list, which is called a C. And if I'll print the type of this list, I'm able to get it as a list. Let's see. Now the new list is a C, which is a class list. Okay. Apart from this, the Python and the list actually have so much of functionality, so much of dynamic work we can perform using the list, right? So it supports the indexing, it supports a lot of things, it supports the reverse indexing, right? And how we can uh, update an element inside the list. Is it possible? Yes, because list is a mutable object and we can modify the elements inside the list and we can assign some new value at the same place. For example, if I want to change this true to false, yes, I can do it. And using this object, I'm going to get the index of it and I will assign a new value to this location and list will update the new value with this old value. Let's see in action A. So as per the index, it should be a 0, 1 and 2. So I should pass a 2 over there and I want to assign a boolean false, right? Now if I'll print the value to the a list A and if I'll print the type of A and if I'll print the type of uh, this index of 2, now I can see, we will see it later, little later. Let's see this one only, right? So I am able to change or I am able to update the data of a list and I can modify the item in the list because list is a mutable object. Mutable stands for modifiable. Okay. So we can modify the list, existing list, and we can replace the value and we can do any other operation what we require to perform on it. Okay. Okay. Now every time I am getting see, every time I am getting list data type for this complete list and if I change or if I will check what is the data type of this object after the modifications and before the modifications. So let's see, let me add some message over there. So before change and let me add this message to here also. So yes, after change, let's see. So you can see for this value, for this true, it was before modifications it was a bool and after modification it was again remain a bool because both of the values are boolean type data type. If you want to assign something else, let's see, suppose 67 and I'm going to check. Now you can see previously it was a bool value, now it's become a integer value. So whatever the value you are going to assign, it will be printed as per your requirement. And yes, you can modify your list, you can modify your data inside the list. Okay, so till now we had seen static list, empty list, accessing list, merging of list, concatenation and different things, right? So basically this is the power of the list. We can access all the elements, we can access anything, we can store anything inside the list. It's completely freedom to us, right? Okay, uh let me move to the next topic, which is nothing just a tuple. Tuple is actually very similar to the list, but there's a one major difference that tuple we are not able to modify it. Once it's created, it is created. We are not able to modify its value. We are not able to change its value. Yes, we want to, if we want to change some value, the Python will do what? For the tuple, it will recreate the same type of object in some other memory location and will assign the new value to the new memory location, which will be looks like it is updated, but actually it's not, right? So next we are going to see the tuple data type. So let's see in action. So what is tuple? So if you want to create a tuple, so basically you have to use a round braces. When you are going to create use this and you are going to print it, you will get a detail about this object. It's a tuple type. You can see this is the empty tuple. There's a no element inside this, right? Okay. The one major difference is list in a Python is completely mutable and tuple in the Python is immutable. This is the major difference between list and tuple. Okay. So same as the list, tuple can also store any type of value and any number of values. 0.45 true string and then complex type, right? Let's see. Yeah, there's some syntax error, and let's see now. So list is also able to keep the data, and list is able to store the same data and different type of data, same data, all type of object it can contain inside of it, and but it's a immutable, it's not modifiable. So when I'm going to print, it's printing a tuple, well, all the elements of it, including the tuple symbol. And when I'm going to type of it, it's printing a its type, its class or its type of object. It's a tuple, right? As I said, it's an immutable object. Let me try to change the value 12, which is at the index 0 to 19. I'm going to do what? I'm going to replace this 12 with 19 using the index of 0. Yes, Python tuple supports indexing also, same as a list, but it's immutable, so it should not be allowed by the tuple to modify it. Let me do to print it a. Let me try. Let's see. So what is saying Python? Python is saying a0 equal to 19. It is not feasible. That's a type error. So tuple object does not support item assignment. What is the mean of it? It means we are going to use the assignment operator to assign this value to the tuple a at the index 0, which is a modification in the existing list. But list is an immutable object. It is not gonna support this kind of or any kind of modification. That's why it showed us the error message, and we understand that we are not able to modify any value in the tuple. And when this error occurred, Python stopped its execution and that statement never executed. I hope you understand that part. Yes, but you can access the element of Python. You can access the element of Python using indexing. How? In a same way, just assign the index number of tuple and it will print the value for it. You can provide the index of 4 because there are only 5 elements, so it should give me this output. Let's see in action. Oh, sorry. Now see, it's printing 2 plus 5 6j, which is the complex number for this statement. What if I'll print a 5, which is not available index? Again, it's saying a index error, tuple index out of range. Okay. Same as the Python, is it supporting the negative indexing or reverse indexing? Yes. Tuple is also able to access using the reverse indexing. Okay. For example, suppose there is a tuple 1, 2, 3, 4, and this 5 is assigned. So for incrementing and normal indexing is start from 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. But the reverse indexing is starts from -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. You can see it's exactly same as the list. This is a list object and this is a tuple. So you can see you can access any item using the index in a tuple also, but you are not allowed to modify it, right? If you are going to access it for -6 because there is only 5 elements, so it will show you the error message. The error message will be remain same as the list it was printing, or the same as the index is not available. For uh, index 1, it will give you the output as 5 for this instance of example, right? I hope you understand about this tuple, right? And few more things. If you are going to do something like list, suppose you are going to assign some value in it, and after that you are going to do what? You are going to do A plus B, and let's see, will it work? Yes. Why? Because list was able to modify the list, but what is happening here, there is a no modifications is done with A and B. It's a new list is new, sorry, it's a, the no modification is done with a plus B. It's a tuple is merged up together, and that new tuple is assigned to the new memory location in the and which is identified as C. So this is not a same as A and B. The new memory location is provided and C identified this memory location. That's why we are able to get this merged list. Okay. Okay, let me try to make a change this one, and let's see, will it work? Now the question will be raised inside your heart, in your brain, like, why this is modified, why A plus B is performed, because modification is not allowed. Basically try to understand what is happening when we are going to access the Python tuple. So suppose this is my memory, and I am going to create some initial tuple with a value 1, 2, 3, which is created at this location, right? So it is not a is there, there is a tuple 1, 2, and 3, and A is pointing out to this one. Now when I created a B, 6, 5, 6, so it is done something like this, 6, 5, 6. Now B is pointing to the this location. When I perform this C, not C, suppose this one, A plus B. So what is happening? Python is assigning this 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 6 to the some new memory location, and again this alphabet character is not pointing to the A here at this memory location anymore. It's pointing out to this location. What about this object? Yes, that object is available in a memory which is not released by Python, right? It will be that object will be cleared by default when Python program will be done, or the internal system of the Python will release this memory, right? So this is not a modification of the list. This is a new memory location is containing both of the tuple together, and we can say both of the concatenated, right? Both of them are concatenated and stored at the new memory location, and which is identified by A later on, right? I hope you understand this typical and tricky part of the tuple. So I think we are done with the tuple for now. Basically, there are some other things also possible with the tuple. So different things we can perform using the tuple. So after that, we will see so this the range sequence type, what it is and how it works. Okay. Now we are going to see the third type of sequence, which is range. So range is a function which will provide you the sequence of numbers which start from 0, and the last number will be its given position minus 1. For example, let's see. So when if I'm going to provide anything range 6, so what it will give us, it will start from 0 and it will generate a sequence of numbers from 0 till the number you have passed minus 1, right? So this is the list or the sequence of values. Basically it will provide us as an output. But when we are going to see as a practical, let's see what it is giving us. It's giving us 06. So let me type a range function and let me provide a parameters as a 6, and A is a variable which will store the whatever the range will create, and let me print it. Now see, it is printing range from 0 to 6. So what is the mean of it? So range is not printing the values what we expected. So what it exactly done? So what is happening? Range is generating a range based object, right? Which is nothing, just a providing or giving a information like it's generating from 0 to 6, where range has a different parameters which says start, and the third parameter, which is an optional parameter, is a step, right? Okay, so we will see that thing a little later, but for now this is a something range is doing, so that belongs to start, and that 6 is belongs to 6, where that 6 is a excluded value which is not gonna be considered in the output sequence, right? So whatever the value we will pass to the range function, it will give us the value minus 1, right? So this is the same thing as range is doing right now. It's providing us a value from 0 to 6. It's saying that, but when we are going to print these values, when we will print the value of this range will generate, we will get only 0 to 5, not this 6, because that 6 is a excluded value, or you can say this is a termination condition for the range function, right? Now you can see when I'm printing it, I'm getting only this. So how we can print the value of range? Now this is a good question, because if you want to print the value of range function will generate, either we can use a list function and we will pass that a to the it. Let me write this thing in a this way, which will be more clear to you, right? So let me execute it. Now you can see this is the expected output what we are getting. So why it's providing this one? Because range is providing a condition or range object which is saying that it is a value or sequence of value from 0 to n minus 1. And if we want to print the value what the range will generate, we have to use some list or some other constructor and functions to use it. Let's see one more thing. What if we will print this a before converting the object a to the list object? Let's see. And let me type some message so it will be more clear to us. So let me type a range object, right? And let me type it here as a list. So what is happening when we are going to print a, or sorry, I have to type this type function and type function. Now you can see when we assign the range function to a and printing the type of a, so I am getting class range, which is saying this is a range data type or range type value object. But when I am trying to get access of the element, so I can use the list or some other way to access the element. And what I'm doing, I'm converting this range object to the list object. Basically this is a range object and now I'm converting it to the list object and again storing in the variable a, and this time when I'm printing it, it's printing a list. I hope you understand that part. So in the further part, we can access the elements of the range using the index value also. For example, if I want to print the value of second object, then let's see what it will have to do. So it's printing the second index value from the range is going to be generated. So what is generating? It's 2. So basically it's generating this value. And let me provide some other value, the 5. So it should give us some other thing. So it's printed a 5. But what if we will provide a 6 here, which is not gonna be any index for the value? So it's a range object index out of range error. Basically, in short, it's an index error. So you understand that part. The value is from 0 to 5, where index is generated from 0 to 5 as well. Just try to understand. Object is generating by default from 0 to whatever the value you will pass minus 1. So this is a value, as well as the index is also exactly same with the for each value in the range. So if you are going to access the index number 6, so in reality there's a no value for 6 existing in the range object, right? That's why we are not able to get any values. If you want to access these values directly, so you can pass like this also, right? Sorry, I'm just forgot to type my print function. Now see, it is able to print the values, right? I hope you understand. Now let me see one more thing. So we had discussed this start. We had understand that what is the end, what is a step. So step is nothing. It is going to say how many jump or how many values you have to skip in a range to generate your sequence. Let's see in action. Suppose I'm going to create a range function from 0 to 20 and with a step size of 2, and I'm going to store it inside of A, and let me print it. So what it should print, it should print only range 0 to 20, right, with the step values of 2. But if I want to print the value or whatever I have generated using the range function, so let me use a list function to check the value of range object, and after that I am going to print this A, and bang, now I have values of all even numbers. Now you can see all the skip values are odd numbers. So what is happened here? Let's understand. So be range, when we had used from uh, 0 to 20 with a step value of 20. So what the range has done, it is going to generate a list of 2. It will jump to the second step, 1 2, right? So it will start from 0 and it will skip 2 steps. So 1 will skip, then it will comes to 2. Then it will skip a one more step. It will skip to, it's a 4. Then 6, then 8, then 10, then 12 and so on till 19 it wants to print, because this is the last valid value for this range function. But why I'm only getting a 18 but not 20? Because 20 is an excluded value here and 18 is a maximum possible value which range can generate and print, right? And 19 is an odd number which is gonna jump from 18. It will try to jump on this. By default, range is doing what? It will start from 0 uh, till the number, and if you will pass this, it will generate the same output as range 0 to 20, or you can say it will generate a range 20. So all of them will generate the same output. But if we want to change the step size, means how many values a range function has to create by a step to the next value. So we can use this range function and we can provide these values, right? Okay. Now let's see a few more points about the range. Uh, yeah. So this is something a range can do, and range function can also be useful if we want to get the elements in a reverse order. So what is the mean of it? If I want the list of items in a reverse order, means a decreasing order, because by default this Python or range function is generating all the values in increasing order. But if we want to get the elements in a decreasing order, so we have to follow this rule, which is nothing but the first parameter for the range function will be the initial value, example, which is exactly same as the previous examples, like 20. The last value which you want to be a satisfied condition, and that will be also a excluded value. For example, let me take as a 0. So it will start from 0 move to the backward direction or decreasing direction till the zero, where t0 is the excluding value or the termination condition, right? And I want to print all the values which is skipped by 2, right? So it will do what? It will jump to the values in a decreasing order from 20 to 0. Let's see. So you can see it start from 20, then move to 18, then 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and then 1 is not able to be printed because it's an even number of jumps and 0 is a excluding value. So if you want to consider this 0 in your result, so either you can use a -1 condition which is much more smaller than 0, right? Or you can do some different way to do that. For now, it's enough condition for us. Let's see. So it will print a 0 also. And suppose if you want to get only sequence number from 20 to 0 or 22, 20 to 0, but you have to pass -1 because you want to say to the range function you have to decrease the value by 1 only, right? So let's see. So it's gonna print all the values from 0 to 19, 18, 17 and so on till the 0, because -1 is a termination condition for us, right? I hope you understand that part. I hope you understand that part. And we will see the few more other topics in data types in the later videos. Thank you.
It's time for the important message and a gift for you. So, for all those who are interested in Python, there is a masterclass that will be taken by the university professor. Kindly register yourself. Link is in the description. And what is the gift? So, we are going to take 5 lucky winners from that particular masterclass who are going to learn the full Python from the university professors for free. So if you want to be that lucky person, kindly register yourself for the masterclass. Thank you.